The air in the living room hung thick with the scent of lavender candles, their flickering glow casting jagged shadows on the walls. I stood frozen, my pulse hammering in my ears, as my wife, Clara, gripped her coworker Daniel's hand. Her words sliced through the quiet like a blade. "I'm leaving you for a real man." Her eyes, usually warm and hazel, glinted with a defiance I didn't recognize. Daniel smirked, his thumb brushing her knuckles. My chest tightened, as if the room had sucked out all its oxygen. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. I'd sensed something was off for weeks. Clara's late nights at the office, her phone buzzing at odd hours, the way she'd flinch when I touched her shoulder. I'd chalked it up to stress. Her marketing firm was pitching a big client, and she'd always been married to her work. But now, standing in our home, the one we'd painted blue together, the truth gutted me. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but my throat felt sealed shut. Instead I stammered, "Clara, what's happening?" Her lips parted, then closed. Daniel stepped forward, his voice smooth as oil. "She's done pretending, Mark. You've been coasting, man. She needs someone who shows up." His words stung, each one a dart laced with accusation. I wasn't enough. I'd never been enough. My mind raced back to our last anniversary. Had I missed something? The dinner I cooked, the necklace I'd saved for months to buy, had it all been inadequate? I sank onto the couch, the leather creaking under my weight. The room felt smaller, the walls closing in. Clara's face softened for a moment, her fingers twitching as if she might reach for me. "Mark, I didn't want it to happen like this," she said, her voice cracking. I felt invisible. "You're always in your head, planning, fixing, but never here." Her words landed like a punch, and I hated how they made sense. I'd been distracted, buried in my own work, convincing myself I was building a future for us. Had I ignored her? My eyes flicked to the coffee table, where a photo of us at the lake last summer sat framed in oak. Clara's laugh in that memory echoed in my skull, bright, unburdened. Now her hand was still in Daniel's, and the sight twisted something deep inside me. Anger flared hot and jagged, but beneath it, a colder ache spread, betrayal. "How long?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She hesitated, her gaze dropping to the floor. 6 months, she admitted. 6 months of lies, of her coming home to me, kissing me, sleeping beside me while her heart was elsewhere. My stomach churned. I wanted to hate her, to hate Daniel. But all I could feel was the weight of my own failure. Had I driven her to this? The room was silent except for the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. I stood, my legs unsteady, and crossed to the window. Outside, the streetlights buzzed, casting a sickly yellow glow over the parked cars. I needed air, space, anything to stop the suffocating pressure in my chest. "You could have told me," I said, not turning around. "You could have said something before." My voice broke, and I hated how weak it sounded. Daniel snorted, breaking the tension like a snapped wire. "She tried, Mark. You didn't listen." I spun to face him, my fists clenching. His smug expression fueled a rage I hadn't known I could feel. But Clara stepped between us, her eyes pleading. "Don't," she said softly. "This isn't his fault. It's mine. I made the choice." Her admission hit harder than Daniel's taunts. She'd chosen this. Chosen him. The woman I'd vowed to love forever had looked at our life, and decided it wasn't enough. I wanted to ask why, to unravel every moment I'd missed, but the questions stuck in my throat. Instead, I noticed her necklace, the one I'd given her, still hanging around her neck. The sight of it felt like a cruel joke. "Take it off," I said, my voice low and raw. Her hand flew to the pendant, her fingers trembling. "If you're leaving, take it off." For a moment, she looked like she might cry, but she unclasped it, the chain pooling in her palm. She set it on the table, next to the photo, and the quiet clink echoed louder than any shout. Daniel tugged at her arm, murmuring something about leaving. But Clara didn't move. Her eyes locked on mine. And for the first time, I saw guilt, real bone-deep guilt. "I didn't want to hurt you," she whispered. I needed to feel alive again." Her words were a knife, twisting deeper because they were honest. I'd failed to make her feel alive. I wanted to beg her to stay, to promise I'd change, but pride or maybe self-respect held me back. "Go," I said, the word tasting like ash. Daniel pulled her toward the door, but she hesitated, her gaze lingering on me. For a fleeting second, I thought she might stay. Then she turned, and they were gone, the door clicking shut behind them. The silence was deafening. I stood there, staring at the necklace on the table, its delicate chain glinting in the candlelight. My mind replayed every moment of the past 6 months. Her late nights, her distracted smiles, the way she'd started locking her phone. The signs had been there, but I'd chosen to ignore them, to believe in us. Now the truth was undeniable, and it shattered me. I sank to the floor, my back against the couch, and let the tears come. They weren't just for Clara, but for the life I thought we had, the future I'd built in my head. The pain was raw, a living thing clawing at my chest, but beneath it, a strange clarity emerged. I'd loved her with everything I had, but maybe that hadn't been enough. Maybe it never would be. Hours later, as the candles burned low, my phone buzzed. A text from Clara. I'm sorry. I left something for you in the bedroom. My heart lurched. I climbed the stairs, each step heavier than the last, and pushed open the bedroom door. On the bed lay a letter, her handwriting neat and familiar. I didn't want to read it, but I couldn't stop myself. The letter wasn't an apology or a plea. It was a confession. She wrote about her loneliness, her fear of growing old in a marriage that felt stagnant. She described meeting Daniel, how his attention made her feel seen again. But the final line stopped me cold. I lied tonight, Mark. I'm not leaving. I can't. I told Daniel it's over, but I needed you to know the truth. I needed you to see me, even if it breaks us. I sat on the bed, the letter trembling in my hands. She wasn't gone. She'd chosen me, but at what cost? The betrayal was real, the wound still bleeding, and yet, she was still here, somewhere in the city, waiting for my response. I didn't know if I could forgive her, if I could ever trust her again. But as I stared at the empty side of the bed, I realized the real twist wasn't her leaving. It was her staying, and the impossible choice now facing me.